Hi, this is Hard Rhythm TV, and I'm Eliany Mejia, and I'm here today with a very good friend of mine, Dr. Jorge Romero. It is a pleasure and an honor to have him with me because we share multiple stories early on in our career. So let me tell you a little bit about Jorge. Jorge actually, his story begins in Colombia when he earned his medical degree in Universidad del Valle, one of the best universities in Latin America. Then Jorge moved to the States when he did his internal medicine, and then I met him at Montefiore Medical Center when he did his cardiology fellowship. Very quickly, we became really good friends, and I can say that you were probably almost like an older brother for me, and he became a mentor. It was very obvious to see his talent, his curiosity, his intelligence, and how good person he was. Later, he went to Brigham's and UCLA to train for EP fellowship, and he came back to the Bronx, to Montefiore Medical Center, to develop and to grow that community and to grow that program. I'm very proud of Jorge. I can see all the things that he has made. In 2018, he earned the Eric Petrovsky Early Career Research Award, and for me, he's a role model. For me, he's a great friend, and I have the pleasure to have you here today to tell you how proud we are and all the things that you have achieved. And actually, I want to talk to you about how you did it. Tell me about the key ingredients that you use. What was the formula to build your team? And now, actually, in 2018, Jorge was appointed the research director of the cardiovascular center at Montefiore. So, and you can see how productive his team is, how many papers has he published. So I want to talk about that. Tell me, Jorge, welcome to this program. Tell me your story, and it's all on you.
Thank you, Eliany, and thank you so much for the invitation. Thank you for having me here and for such an introduction. I just want to say that, I mean, I've done all these things thanks to my mentors, Dr. Shiv Kumar in UCLA, Dr. Bill Stevenson, that we just saw here in the meeting, and Dr. Luigi Di Biasi and Andrea Natale, who were my current mentors, and Luigi, who was the one who recruited me at Montefiore in 2016 when I graduated from Brigham. So when I got to, just to give you an overview of the process of how to be a leader and how to build a successful EP lab, you have to start by saying that you cannot do this by yourself, okay? So Luigi and I and all my colleagues at Montefiore, in 2016, we were doing approximately 400 procedures per year. Not horrible, but we were doing like below average, okay? And in 5 years now, we're doing 4,000 procedures, 10 times. So we're growing. I mean, we have reached our ceiling now that we need to build more EP labs, okay? But before you start building EP labs and investing millions of dollars, you really need to work with your team. We were talking before that, you know, you really need to have like great communication with everybody, okay? So you need to, the EP lab it needs to be a well-oiled machine, okay? I know there's a lot of moving parts, but if you focus on each of those parts, if you focus on training the techs, training your EP fellows, having a great communication with the anesthesiology team, talking to everybody, the administrators, nurses, your colleagues, you know, to have protocols so everybody's doing pretty much the same thing, because when you don't have that harmony and there's a lot of animosity between a lot of members of the team, it's impossible to be successful or even less so to be efficient in the lab, okay? So something that we really started developing in 2016 was a good communication with the anesthesia team, okay? So with Luigi, we developed like techniques, for example, to do sub-Q ICDs. Instead of using GA, general anesthesia, we developed a technique using tumescent local anesthesia.
I saw the paper.
We just published it in Hard Rhythm like 1 or 2 years ago. And with that, only using that technique, we save in-room time 88 minutes. So if you do, instead of doing 2 or 3 cases, now we do 6 sub-Q ICDs. You know?
Increasing productivity and patient satisfaction. So.
And also, yeah, you're right, because it's not only about the time and be fast, you know, it's only with that technique, the post-procedural pain, it's so much better, okay? Because when you do these procedures with general anesthesia, the moment that the patient wakes up, they're in
It's gonna ask
horrible
for
pain
payment.
and they take opioids, and addiction to opioids is a big problem. I just gave a lecture yesterday, and more and more people are on methadone and oxycodone, and they're dying because of us, essentially. So with that technique, we don't really have to do anything. A little bit of Tylenol after the procedure, and they go home pretty much the same day. Just to give you an example, okay, also something else that we developed with the Anesthesia Team is, in order to do the procedures a little bit faster, we tried to use a technique that was proposed and tested by Jose Osorio in Birmingham, Alabama. And it's like high frequency, low tidal volumes, okay? Yeah. So instead of using 500 cc and respiratory rates of 12 beats per minute.
Less movement.
So he decreases, and we're doing it for over the past year. So he decreases the tidal volume to 200, and he ventilates the patient at 30, and that gives you perfect catheter stability, better contact force, and the procedure time, ablation time is perfect, and first pass isolation is
better lesions.
And we know that
stability.
if you isolate your veins first pass, that correlates with clinical outcomes long term. Okay.
Yeah. So Jorge mentioned a couple of key topics. That number one, team matters, right? We cannot play solo. Number two, communication. And I think that one of the most important things that I can take for your experience is patient first. So you're developing techniques to decrease procedural time, to increase patient satisfaction, and at the end, also patient satisfaction and decrease those procedural times gonna reflect on the productivity of your work and the productivity of your lab. And one more question, talking about team and how you can grow your team and make it more productive. Tell me about how diverse is your team and how diversity, working in a place like the Bronx. I love the Bronx. I trained there in Montefiore with you as an internal medicine resident. So how do you feel working for that community and making your team looking more like they are? So tell me about it.
I think it's a great experience because, I train at UCLA, Brigham, like very prestigious places, but at the Bronx, you're really, you're very close to your community, and at Montefiore, there's no easy patient. You're never gonna have your single PVI case. Every case is so complex, and so you learn a lot, and the more you learn, the better outcomes you're gonna have for your patients.
Well,
let me tell you something. Something that you mentioned before is, when I was a cardiology fellow, I was trying to, I almost didn't go into EP because AFib ablations were like 10 hours. You remember when we were fellows, 10-hour
procedure,
case,
and then the patient,
So, and there's a paper by Chief Kumar and Dr. Boyle in UCLA that the moment that you're being intubated for more than 6 hours, your complication rate goes exponentially. It's a lot of problems that you're gonna have. So, now we're doing AFib ablations in 50 minutes, and good success, fast. So.
And patient first, putting always patient center. So I have to thank you, Jorge. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you to tell your story. I think that is very inspiring for all of us. And key points that I can take away from this interview is never playing solo. We have to play as a team. Number two, communication is key. And putting always patient first. So thank you so much, Jorge, for this time. This is Heart Rhythm TV, and see you next time.
Bye, guys.